What you see is all there is. It's a simple, powerful, and honestly, a kind of terrifying idea from the mind of Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. It's a mental shortcut. He calls it WYSIAT. And believe me, it is shaping your reality every single second of the day, usually without you even noticing.
So Kahneman opens this up with an absolutely brilliant line from the old comedian Danny Kaye. And yeah, it's a great joke, but Kahneman's point is that it's also a shockingly accurate description of the fastest, most automatic part of our minds.
So let's just put that question out there, directly to you. What if this isn't just some funny little quirk? What if it's a fundamental design feature of how you make sense of the world, every single day? Well, it all comes down to this. The automatic part of your brain, what Kahneman famously calls System 1, is basically a machine built for one purpose: jumping to conclusions. It's an incredibly fast storyteller, and its only job is to create the most sensible story it can from whatever little scraps of information are lying around.
Now, what's really fascinating is how this inner storyteller of yours deals with things that are ambiguous or unclear. And the short answer is, it doesn't. It just kind of steamrolls right over the problem. Here, let me show you exactly what I mean.
Okay, so take a quick look at this. Read both of these lines. I'm willing to bet you instantly read A, B, C, and 12, 13, 14. No hesitation, no confusion, right?
But, and here's the trick, look closer. That character in the middle of each line, it is the exact same shape. It's physically identical. Your brain never even whispered to you, hey, this is ambiguous, you have a choice to make here. Nope, the context, letters here, numbers there, gave it a story, and it just instantly, automatically picked one.
And this little illusion shows us something absolutely crucial. Our fast-thinking System 1, it doesn't keep a list of the other possibilities it considered. It just picks a reality and plows ahead. You know, actually holding two competing ideas in your head at once, feeling doubt, that's hard work. And that's a job for our much slower, much more deliberate System 2.
Okay, so that's a neat visual trick. But how does this play out in the messy, real world? Well, let's talk about something we've all experienced, the incredible power of a first impression. It's a phenomenon known as the halo effect, and it is our conclusion-jumping machine working overtime in our social lives.
Let's try a classic thought experiment. I want you to read this list of traits for a guy named Alan and just form a quick impression in your mind, okay? He's intelligent, industrious, impulsive, critical, stubborn, and envious. You got a feel for him?
All right, now let's meet Ben. Here are his traits: envious, stubborn, critical, impulsive, industrious, and intelligent. Just take a second. What's your gut feeling about Ben? Okay, so who do you like more, Alan or Ben? Now, if you're like pretty much everyone else who does this, you probably have a much warmer feeling toward Alan. He just seems like a better guy.
And here's the kicker. As you can see, the lists have the exact same words. The only thing that changed was the order. With Alan, the positive words came first. That created a positive halo, this glow that made us see his stubbornness as, being a man of conviction. But for Ben, the negative traits came first, framing his intelligence as something kind of sinister and conniving. That first impression created a story, and it colored every single fact that followed.
So what we're seeing here, this tendency to just ignore ambiguity and to let first impressions completely run the show. These aren't separate, random quirks. They are both symptoms of one single, incredibly powerful principle that governs our minds.
For example, someone asks you, hey, will Mendy be a good leader? She's intelligent and strong. For almost all of us, the answer, yeah, sounds like it, just pops into our heads. It feels right. But notice what your brain didn't do. It didn't stop and ask the most important question of all. Wait a minute, what information am I missing?
And that brings us to the big idea. Kahneman gave it an acronym, WYSIAT. It stands for what you see is all there is. And it means your fast-thinking System 1 operates as if the information it currently has is the only information that exists in the entire universe. Anything that isn't right there, right now, might as well not exist at all.
This was demonstrated perfectly in a really fascinating study. Researchers had people act as jurors in a legal case. But here's the twist. Some of the jurors only heard the arguments from one side. The other group got to hear both sides, like you would in a real trial. So, who do you think was more confident in their final decision? You'd think it's the people with more information, right? Nope, it was the group that heard only one side of the story, and it wasn't even close. Why? Because hearing both sides introduced conflicting facts and doubt. It made their internal story messy and less consistent, and that totally tanked their confidence.
And that right there is the absolute core lesson of WYSIAT. For our fast-thinking brain to feel confident, it doesn't need a complete story. It just needs a consistent one. In fact, knowing less often makes it much easier to build a simple, clean story that feels 100% right.
Now, this one simple principle, what you see is all there is, it's not just some interesting tidbit of psychology. It is the root cause, the engine behind a whole host of cognitive biases that trip us up every single day.
I mean, think about it. It leads directly to overconfidence, because our confidence is based on how good our story feels, not on how much actual evidence we have. It causes framing effects, where just changing a few words makes us feel totally differently about the same fact. And it explains base rate neglect, where we'll ignore solid statistics in favor of one single, vivid story.
Just look at this classic example of framing. Hearing that the odds of survival are 90% feels pretty reassuring, doesn't it? But what about hearing mortality is 10%? It's the exact same fact, but it feels completely different. Same thing with 90% fat-free versus 10% fat. Your brain doesn't stop to do the math. It just reacts to the information it sees.
So, if you take away one thing from all this, let it be this. Your intuitive mind is a storyteller, not a scientist. It does an amazing job of working with the information that's right in front of its face, creating these neat, coherent stories that let us navigate the world quickly. But its greatest strength is also its biggest, most dangerous blind spot. It is completely and utterly blind to the information it doesn't have.
Kahneman has this really sharp observation about people caught in this WYSAI trap. He says, they didn't want more information that might spoil their story. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to ask ourselves about our own thinking. Do you?